Ready?
Yep.
Two, ready, go. Grab your friends and gather around. Hear the stories when you're down. With songs and smiles for miles. If you're looking for a place to go, I know one hell of a show. There's a place that'll make you glad. Opposite of being sad. DickandDank.com. DickandDank.com.
Well, welcome back to Dope Discussions with Dick and Dank. Sitting here in the Kentucky Oasis, Dick and I watching some Olympics. They've been a variety of sports. I've seen some figure skating. I've seen some downhill skiing. Some I don't know what else.
I was hoping to see some snowboarding to see if there's any weed out there.
Yeah, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it because we can't smell it either.
I can smell weed.
Yeah, but not from here.
I can smell it through the TV.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. That's good to know. Well, we were supposed to have a guest on today, Aussie Gunja Man, Aussie underscore Gunja underscore man, and they backed out on us. But he's got a podcast in Australia, and Dick's here in the Kentucky Waster and me with him. Gratefully, we were able to find a backup because if you've listened to our recent episode, we talked to the rogue herbalist. And she was able to connect us with a friend. We've got Brandon from Inhouse Genetics, and he's on with us today here. Brandon from Inhouse Genetics, thank you for being available. And I'm sure you're probably watching some Olympics or whatnot. But cannabis is we were kind of discussing before we started the show. But you clearly have a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge. Well, let's start from the beginning. Like your relationship with cannabis, where did that begin, and how did you get, I guess, so in depth with it? And introduce yourself, of course, and what you know, of course. Brandon from Inhouse Genetics.
Yeah, it starts with kind of where everybody kind of started, right? Because basically the beginning of high school, right? So you're checking out all sorts of alcohol, drugs, and you're testing everything out, right? And I just kind of had a little bit of a ended up just being infatuated with weed. It was it was cool because I'm from the Northwest, so we were always blessed with two things. One was called local, which was locally grown, quite a bit more expensive. The terp profile was an amazing feel when you smoked it. And then the second, if you were if you didn't have quite enough, but it was affordable, which was called Beasters. So Canadian weed, it was it was plentiful around here. So we come from an area where we were just spoiled when it came to weed. And so you go through smoking weed, and then you're like, hey, maybe I can sell a little bit of this, and then all through high school and all that, things kind of develop, and you just get it becomes part of life. You never really considered it a drug, even though everybody told you it was.
Right.
And so it was all mediary, in the early years, and then started kind of looking at it maybe I could grow this. And it was a nightmare the first time I tried. I was at a job, construction job, and a guy was growing, and I just was like, oh, can I get a couple of plants? And he's like, sure. And I didn't know what I was doing, and I got a couple of plants, and I got a basically equivalent to a shop light. And what I mean is the lights that you would see in a warehouse.
Yep. Yep.
Like a good cone. Did the trick for a little bit. I can't remember if I sprayed or did something, and I ended up killing the plants off and had to go back, and the guy's name was Don, and I had to go back and beg to get some more. And I said, and then he was like, get some information, and so you don't fuck it up this time, old hard knuckle guy. He was like,
right.
He was in his 50s or something like that at the time, and here's this 19, 20-year-old kid being like, oh, whatever. And so It was like kind of like basically growing a few plants here and there. Wasn't anything to write home about. But then you start kind of really looking at it in a different way, going, because at the time we didn't have as much plentiful information as we have now. It's all at our fingertips. If you want to grow, and shit it's boom, it's right there.
Right.
So a lot of it was just adapting, like how tomatoes grow, how other things grow, understanding what NPK was, and then a lot of wishing. So as an example, you started hearing the phrase called hydro, so I was like, oh my God, what is this hydro, right? Because you're growing in soil, this and that. So as you, over time, you get a little bit better in the soil, you actually start getting some good harvest. And then in reality, I just got sick and tired of packing dirt around, right? Like we were growing in, so you graduate from like a closet to a bedroom and then to a basement. And a couple of months we were packing all this dirt out of a basement. I was like, this is stupid. and so I started kind of reading around and came across this Dutch guy, and he had 4 buckets with a bucket in there, 5 buckets, 4 of them with 1 bucket in the middle, and there was a control bucket, and there was a deep water culture system. And so I like to engineer stuff. So I was like, ooh, I bet you I could connect 100 of those buckets, right? So so I tried it. I did 20 buckets the first time. Didn't paint the buckets and didn't, so light got through. Algae, fucking disaster. So you learn from that. But anyway, ultimately, in short order, probably over about 3-4 years, went from a basement to a few houses in Seattle.
Wow.
And then to a couple of warehouses. And then you just got really good at it. And just kept
growing. You're growing.
What's that?
You're growing. Just kept growing.
Well, what it was a friend of mine, close friend of mine. He was like, "Look, I don't know why you aren't expanding. You're good at what you do, but if the feds come at you, you're already cooked. So there's no difference.
Go big or go home."
Well, because at the time, because it was very, very scary at the time. But if you had over 99 plants, it was an instant like federal case. There was no way around it.
And how many plants did you have?
When he probably brought this up to me, probably 200.
All right, playing a little dangerously. I like it. A little dank to me.
And so he's like, "There's no difference." He said, "There's no difference between 100 and 1,000 plants."
Right.
And so.
Crime's the thing.
So what it was is then you get onto other growers or people that are growing, so you kind of help them. And then I got pretty good at building these things out because I come from a background of construction. So there's no point in having a wire hanging down or anything like that. So OCD kicks in. So if you're building them out, you're putting in conduit, you're building
it right.
So like it's legit. Yeah. Well, at the time when you're getting, because at this time we were getting for $2,900, $3,300 a pound all day long without even trying. And so it justifies. So if you got to spend $30,000 to build out, say, a 10 lighter, it's no big deal, right? You're going to get that back right on the cup, right on the first. So anyhow, they and then you're like, okay, I want to, I like want to be different. So you're going to go find strains that people don't want to grow or hard to grow, but you're going to be good at it. And so that way it kind of separates you from everybody else, and because really anything in this industry, in this business is you got to come because the flavors change so fast and people's things change. So you want to be able to always be in a position if somebody's looking at your flower or, picking up your genetics, they know that it's different, right? This is not what they're used to, or they've not really seen this before. And so we went heavily after like OG strains because nobody was wanting to grow them because the nugs were small, even though they were dense. Still same, like you could have 5 grams of Bubba, and then you could have 5 grams of like an OG strain, and it'd be half the size.
Okay.
But the same weight.
Okay.
Right. So now everything's off in appearance. So if you if it's going into a turkey bag, that turkey bag stuffed with say like a $3.99 Bubba, but you come with these OGs and it's 3/4 of the way full.
They're like, hey, you're ripping me off, bud. They're
gonna go, whoa, you're shorting me here, right? What
weigh
is
it,
this?
buddy, weigh it.
But once you break that bud up and all that, then you realize like, oh, okay, plus it's just a way better smoke. So what we ended up doing was kind of getting on like our own feel. So then you have the same people that you don't have to mess with anybody. So you just really streamline it, and then over time you start really collecting genetics, and you're constantly hunting seeds, and like before you're getting seeds from around the way, or you're ordering them out of a magazine or trading something with somebody. Nobody really liked to talk about they were growing. So, but with the whole idea is always stay under the radar. So as an example, only the people that need to know that you were growing knew that you were growing. And
Right.
I remember one time I got spooked. I was coming out of a concert, and a friend of mine bumped into a friend of mine, and he's like, oh damn. He's like, Brandon, what's going down? I'm like, oh, what's up? He's like, right now, he's like, you got the fire, like hands down, best out there right now. And I was so spooked. I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, oh, I'm cool, it's good, right? And I know this guy since, we went to fucking high school together, right?
Right.
But we're friends, but we're not like tight. And
Right.
I'm like, damn, so you're now scouting your brain, like who is getting into a conversation about what you're doing, and it just kind of spooked me. So you had to kind of clamp down a little bit harder, and it made it difficult in those early years because I like groupthink and I like to bounce stuff off of people, but at the same time, at that time it was really, really super taboo. And it was like kind of a godsend when Washington started bringing in the medical program, right? Gives you a little bit of flexibility.
Legitimize yourself.
And then, what's that?
You can go legit then. You have a path.
No,
right?
No, not at all. You're not going to
really?
be able to do this type of stuff legit. So there was like a hodgepodge of stuff. And so what he ended up doing was as I started scaling back and then started kind of concentrating on a few different things. So I had a really good friend that we'd always share genetics and working together. And he was moving heavy into the genetics aspect. And so it was like a match made in heaven. So it was like, we between the two of us, we had some of the most sought after fire strains, and we had access, and we could, and we were really good growing, right? And we've kind of perfected the hydro aspect. So went from deep water culture to rock wool flood and drain, sea of green method, and then SOP, everything dialed in. So you just had a stretch there where everything you touched was just gold,
All right.
And so. What's that?
I got a question. Now you said going back to your OG was the better strains that you found. You said they're smaller buds. They don't look like they're as quality, but they're better smokability now. Now you say OG, so you're going back to like an original plant. Like where did that begin? How do you find those seeds? Are they harder to find, or they're harder to grow? What steers people away from those, or is it just because the harvest looks less? I guess.
So yeah, I mean, to sum it up now, it's super easy to grow because you have so much more information. They just can be finicky. So as an example, like an OG strain, which is basically kind of the origins of Northern California. It's debatable on how it comes, like ocean grown or original, like whatever the gospel is on that. But what it was it didn't fit the checklist for people at the time. Everybody was talking about big buds, and the big buds were king. So as an example, we went through a phase where everybody thought BHO snapping was king, but in reality it was the sauce. It was the stuff that sauced up because that's where all the terps were, right? Where the shatter didn't have quite the flavorful or held the terps like a sauce does. So it's just kind of at the time. It didn't have the bag appeal. It was just, they look small. Like nobody likes to be, get a,
Right.
spend.
No, I'm with you. I got gypped on my jar. I feel ripped off. Yeah. But, if they smoke it, though, because I'll remember the strains I smoke and the Durban Diesel or something like that, so you got a favorite strain?
So, like, from our catalog or like all time?
For you personally.
Oh, like we'll have an affinity in our heart with the Platinum Kush Breath, right? Or just our straight platinum. So our platinum is permafrost, and the UW hash plant. So it's just got a crazy trichome build, and then it's got the hash lineage in it. And so no matter whether you're smoking the flower or you having an extraction where you put in an edible, you're going to have a great feel and an awesome feel. So like very picky on a lot of especially when it comes to your cannabis and your consumption. Like I like to feel a particular way,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's some strains that just don't rub me right because there's obviously some sort of undiagnosed ADD or some sort of something in my brain that my brain just will fire off neurons, and then you have a bunch of ideas and this and that.
Right.
So
I'm with
some
you.
strains, if it's too high THC and I don't have that balance there, I'm just miserable. Like
Right.
oh man, why did I do this?
I'm with you. I'm the same way. 'Cause, well, as we talked about him, he took it for chronic pain. I was in a major car accident, traumatic brain injury, head open and everything. And then there were some other things I went through medically, and the brain healed or whatever, the swelling goes down, and tried the medication, was miserable, and then found cannabis, and it's changed my life. And had a degree in broadcasting. He says, "Hey, you want to start a podcast?" And I said, "Okay, let's go." And here we are having cannabis in common. But it's letting us meet great people like you. But so talking to the Rogue Herbalist, so what was unique to me, and I think you're going to be able to answer some of these questions, but as novices, because I don't grow yet, he grows. I'm waiting for him to give me I'm waiting for his hand-me-down shit so I can grow. I got some free seeds.
I got a bigger tent. I just got to find time to put it up. So you can have my small one.
And I'm getting a small tent because we both have a medical card. And then we got some free seeds from Big Monday Genetics. They were on a previous episode. So I'm going to try my hand at growing some seeds here. But that way I can put it on Instagram. Everybody can see my failed attempts or whatever. Or I can realize how easy or how hard it may or may not be. But for her, what I found unique, because we talked to the trauma translator, his issue, but he found somebody growing was able to geneticize a specific strain that helped his chronic pain or his phantom nerve pain, so he could grow his own medicine at home. And then talking to the Rogue Herbalist, I found her fascinating because she's finally one that she feels she can help prescribe the strains that you're looking for based on the terpenes and whatnot, and the plant characters or whatever, to help you attack whatever specific disease or issue that you need. For him, the chronic pain; for me, the mood, or like you say, the ADHD. So as far as you're concerned, do you find any of those strains, I don't know, like sativa or an indica, did they produce differently? Are they easier to grow? Are they, if you're a novice at home, what's a good way to get started?
Yeah. I'm going to answer that question in 1 second. This is all going to tie in, but I want to point out something that you had mentioned. You guys said that you guys looked at cannabis because you had an issue with body issue, whether it's pain, back pain or whatever. So now it's like for instance, I never thought anything about cannabis being medicinal when I first started. Just grew it. It was serving a purpose, all that. And then started with my grandma. She kind of had an idea what I did, but didn't really talk about it, but handed me an article out of The Stranger, which is a magazine here, and it was about weed butter. And she's like, "I'm not eating. I don't feel good. I know if I smoke weed, but I don't want to smoke it. And but if I put in butter, I might be able to get an appetite." So I was like, okay.
Right. Grandma's open to it.
So unfortunate the first time, it just obviously it was too strong. It was too strong, right? So it kind of turned her off for a little bit. I was like, well, you know what? Let me go talk to a few people. Let me get back to you. Let's see if we can dial this in. And so we got her something that was a little bit more, it wasn't so concentrated, so potent. Yeah. And she'd make a piece of toast, get an appetite, eat, and then started putting her weight back on, right? And so that was kind of the first introduction to that. I mean, like I said, we knew that there was a medical program coming here, but you're so in the fray, like in the hustle and all that stuff. You didn't like when people thought about medical marijuana, there was a time in my life where I thought it was like just hippies being grandiose. And just
exactly. We all thought that. What are you talking about?
So, because I was just in a different realm. And then once I started getting real life experience, kind of like how you guys woke up one day and realized like, hey, this might help. I'm going to try it because the alternative kind of sucks too, like being on a bunch of pain pills and this and that and just murdering your liver slowly. Right.
Yep.
And so that's why I think that, that graduation to that, and then, starting to understand the plant on its basically the genetics of the plant. So what terpenes were, right? What cannabinoids are, coming to learn about, they coined it eventually, called the entourage effect, realizing that we have our system is built for this plant. So as an example, remember, I don't know, you guys may not remember, but people that were on probation and stuff like that, you couldn't smoke weed, couldn't even come across it because it would show up in your system a month later. So you come to the realization that anything that's bad in your body, like say like cocaine, heroin, alcohol, your body pushes it out because it's foreign. It's like, hey, this is bad for your body. I got to get it out. So whether you're throwing it up, sweating it out, or whatever, where the cannabinoids and cannabis stays because your body's feeding off of it, right? So once you start actually kind of recognizing like, oh, there's really something here, and so it's just like that continued graduation from there, and then you realize like you start looking into the history of cannabis, right? And then like one thing that really stood out to me as this was all going out was there were soccer moms driving from Georgia to Colorado to get CBD oil, at the time called Charlotte's Web, and then driving back across 7 states, 8 states, breaking federal law, not because they were trying to run a bunch of fucking oil across state lines.
They just want their medicine
to help their kids,
right?
Not help themselves, to help their kids. Right. And then you had then at that time you had the Rick Simpson stuff, and then you're like, oh, okay, now there's definitely something here, and then it just kind of reinforces. And then once you realize the history that we've done, the University of Mississippi has been studying this the whole time. We have a broken system where the pharmaceutical industry spends, millions of dollars opposing it here in the United States, but at the same time spending tens, if not in some cases hundreds of millions of dollars supporting it and medical research in cannabis in Israel, right? Their program, their medical program, cannabis medical program, is light years ahead of the United States. And that's not because we're not innovative here. It's because we had a pharmaceutical industry that chose to suppress the people and deny the people, and then provide an offshore country, put all the innovation offshore, which is going to come and bite us because it seems like, everywhere we turn, they want to keep us sick and they want to keep it kind of stretched to there. And
they make money off us.
Yeah. And more people like yourselves coming to this conclusion, like whether you came yesterday, or you came 10 years ago, or you've been OG for 50 years, we're all here. And now we have to kind of wake up and look at it, go, oh, okay, there's a lot of benefit here, and it's going to benefit the vast majority of the people. And as a whole, it's not a cure-all, but if you incorporate it in your diet,
right,
then you won't need a cure because you might not develop something in the first place. So once we start getting this gravity and kind of understanding this stuff, we're going to have the change that we're looking for. And how you were mentioning that you don't grow yet, I would strongly urge you, whether you don't need a tent, if you got, the spring and summer, put 1 plant out or 2 plants out, go out there in your bare feet, touch the grass, water it, nurture it. I guarantee when your season's over, you got to cut that down. You're going to feel bad for cutting it down, but you're going to feel a lot better because there's nothing like growth therapy. It is a real thing. You're looking after it and you get to watch the results in real time, and then you leave for the day, come back the next. And if it's in the sun, it's gonna grow a few inches, and you're gonna see the difference. And then next thing you know, you got this really beautiful plant in front of you.
So you're saying to me, the best way to go, because I literally have packs of seeds, is as you say, pop the seed, you put it in a paper towel or some water, whatever, let it start to sprout. Once it's in there, I can put a little dirt, let it grow, and then springtime, pop it in the dirt outside and just let it go naturally. I mean, water it obviously if it's a drought, but otherwise don't do much to it.
Yeah, so pop the seed, get yourself you can get a little shop light or even just a little light.
Get it warm.
Put it under 18 hours. That seedling's gonna grow up, and keep it moist, keep it wet, and then you're gonna want to eventually get a little bit stronger light, but you'll put it outside, but you'll put it in the shade for a few days, and you're hardening it off, and then you can put it right into the dirt, and then you can put it into full sun. So it's not super difficult. You can put it in the ground or you can put it in a pot. It's not super difficult to get going, but for what we find is we hold a podcast every Thursday for home growers, and some of the best time is during the spring and summer because people are showing off their plants outside, and it's cool to watch them to go from a foot tall to some cases 6-8 feet tall. There was one lady, she had this tiny little plant in the end of May, beginning of June, and come August, September, it was pretty big. And then came October harvest time, she said she'd had a picture taken. She's standing behind it. We didn't even know she was behind it. So
Jeez.
watching that, you don't need to go that extreme. You can still cut the tops of it off, manicure it, keep it the height, so you're not you're not pissing the neighbors off or making a big spectacle of it. But I urge people to if you at least put a plant or two outside, even if you don't even partake, it's nothing. I mean, getting back to nature like that and,
All right.
and looking after it's a great therapy.
So I like this idea. I like how it's going. So it comes springtime, I'll pop some seeds and I'll put them outside, and then if you bring me a tent, then I can put one inside, and then I can see the difference. But my question is this, because we have a raised garden here out there because you plant tomatoes and cucumbers and stuff. Now, if I plant that in the same spot, is it going to cross-pollinate with any of the vegetables where I can get some nice THC-based tomatoes or anything? Or like, is anything going to happen?
No. So it depends. So for instance, if you have a feminized seed, then you're going to get a feminized plant. If you have a regular seed or regs, good. You have a potential, like usually the reg ratio for males to females is 6 or 7 females to 3 males to 4 males in a regular pack. But yeah, if you're the male and it was going to pollinate, it's not going to cross pollinate your tomatoes or anything like that. It's isolated plant. But one thing you will do though is like if your soil, it'll remediate your soil, because that's what the plant is a natural bioremediator.
So it'll help the soil grow better tomatoes and better plants, you're saying?
Yep. Yeah. It cleans like, for instance, hemp's being grown in Chernobyl right now, pulling the radiation right out of the ground.
Really?
That's fantastic. So it's good for the Mother Earth and people. I told you it was here for a reason. It is literally here to save the earth, and I don't know why we've been hiding it. Now, all right, man. Now, question. Now, obviously, it's not going to affect the cannabis or anything, but or the tomatoes per se. But I mean, would it affect the cannabis? Would it pick anything up from the tomatoes nearby, like some flavor, some taste? Because I know it picks up the atmosphere it grows in and the soil. So I don't know if it was sharing the same soil, if it could get any tomato.
It's going to share the same nutrients. If you're already growing tomatoes, it's pretty much about the same soil, same kind of nutrient, same kind of style. Like if you can grow a tomato plant, you can grow this plant.
Okay.
So that's why a lot of people used to compare back in the day when it was low key, and you go into a grocery store, you'd be like, yeah, I'm growing a lot of tomatoes, and they'd be like, okay, here you need this with a wink. But yeah, I would urge anybody, like, you don't have to be a seasoned indoor grower. There's a lot of resources out there. Like, for instance, if you're on Spaces, a couple of us hold a Sunday morning conversation that you can either join while it's going, or you can always review it. But we specifically talk in the realm of new growers, right? So we start explaining what pH is, right? The ppm, the EC, like what the difference is, and kind of troubleshoot for growers, whether it's bugs, and talking soil, talking basically talking about stuff that we wish we would have known when we started, so you didn't have such a hard knock coming up, and then providing and paving ways for like community to help community and kind of change the tide, because there's we always say there's never a stupid question. So even if it should be, even just because you know it, somebody else might not. You know what I mean, right? And some people scoff, like, how can you grow a plant and not know that? And it's like, yeah, because they're just starting. And that's really what it is to encourage people to take the plunge to grow themselves, because growing is cliche and corny, but it truly is freedom, right? Yep. You're not, if you can grow your own food, if everything hits the fan, you don't have to go. You can handle vast majority of your stuff. Or
country boy can't survive. Grow your own food, grow your own medicine, grow your own alcohol out there. So yeah.
Right. So okay,
and that's where I think that we're heading towards. And what we have to do is you talked about the tomato plant. We need to talk about that cannabis plant that'll be right next to your tomato plant, and it'd be just acceptable as that tomato plant that you're growing next.
That's what I want. That's where we need to do. And that's what I'm hoping this show does. This is what I want people to follow, dickanddank.com, because we're trying to promote that. Like, don't tread on me, don't hate me, because I need medicine for my daily use, to function,
So
it's going to be next to impossible to get over ignorance, because what we actually cut through it will be is the time that people like yourselves come to the conclusion and go, I need to try something different, or I want to explore this, and then you guys obviously had great success with it, or otherwise you wouldn't be doing a podcast. You wouldn't be taking your time and your energy to spread what you guys learned. As an example, the reason why we're having this conversation, the reason why you guys are here, the reason why we're all here is because we've seen it help people. We've seen it improve lives. Like cannabis is one of the cannabis and hemp is effect on your life is the better life, whether you're growing it, whether you're selling it, whether you're working with it or whatever. You always it has a positive impact, and you want it, and they'll lie to you, and you'll see these, the Sams of the world and all this, and they're like, it's a gateway drug and this and that, and it's like, no, I've never encountered that in my life. You know what I mean, right?
Right.
Never been smoking weed and be like, you know what would be good right now would be some crack. No, never
Right.
thought that way.
You know what would make this better? Crack. No. I'll enjoy a beer slowly, but I don't need to get drunk.
100%. And another thing too is like when you're in, even coming up, like cannabis, like dealing with cannabis was never in a sense dangerous in a sense. The most dangerous thing about cannabis was if the money aspect of it. But outside of that, like if you knew people and all that shit, like like for instance, if you're taking 10 pounds or it's 100 pounds somewhere, it's not nearly as stressful as the people that were selling, say, like a kilo of cocaine or something. You get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah,
Right.
It's just weed.
Like there's a distinct difference there because cannabis is essentially is a lifestyle, right? So whatever role you're playing, it's a lifestyle. Yeah, some people are more grandiose about it, but also everybody's kind of coming back realizing like, oh yeah, the benefits and everything I get from this plant is that's why I keep coming back. That's why prohibition never worked. That's why prohibition will never work. And so our government has to come to the understanding that no matter how many, our politicians, how many pharmaceutical dicks they suck, they're never going to, rid us from this. They've tried so hard. They even tried to do it recently with the hemp bill by squeezing that bull crap in there. And people look at it and go, you better start getting it together, because if we have to, we're not going to stop growing this. And if we have to, people are going to start growing it themselves, and it's going to ruin everything that they tried to do, because that prohibition never works in this country.
Yeah. I do what I want.
And we will. And we did. Like, as an example, I'm glad I don't have to feel that way, but, that federal, growing over 100 plants, back in the day was nerve-wracking. I like, even when I think about it today, I'm like, they're like, there's been times where I've woken up, there was actually a stretch there where you're like, oh my God, is today the day? Right? Because you knew you were making news. You know what I mean? Right?
What's the most amount of plants you've ever had?
Yeah, but I'm good friends with that person. I blame him because he was like, what's the difference between 100 and 1,000? And I was like, I don't know. Let's find out.
All right. So you had all those plants. What's the most you had growing at once?
Back in the day or now?
Ever.
Back in the day, you had the most at once.
Oh, the most at once? Last year, the year before. Because it's like we have the outdoor grows. We have stuff grown that we're responsible across the country. Like when you think about it, we should be getting some carbon credits, to be honest with you. The CO2 sequester that we partake in every year from the amount of plants that we put everywhere. We should be like muku in the CO2 credits. But at any given time in rotation, with everything, I mean, it's anywhere from 3,000 to 7,000 plants in rotation.
Holy shit.
All right, so you have a team of how many people working on this?
No, so us directly, like with our nursery and all that stuff, that's directly under our operations. We have a nursery here in Washington, Oregon, and Oklahoma. So at any given time that there's plants, whether they're in cultured or whatever, you're going to be anywhere from 250 to 750, like done something in transit. Like there's some stuff, like if you're hunting, that means that you got one strain, but you're hunting through, say, whether it's 10 or 75 or 150, right? So it just kind of fluctuates depending on what you're doing, what you're going about. It's really, this time of year is when it's kind of hectic because there's so much stuff going on. But yeah, so then you have the stuff that you supply. Like we provide some grow plans for some working partners across the country, which has helped a lot of like mom and pops get get into a flow and actually thrive in this, and take a stab in it.
So then you're harvesting this crop. You're getting pounds, obviously, with these major harvests. Now you're selling to dispensaries?
Oh yeah, well no, what I was clearing up is like,
okay.
So a lot of these are whether we're consulting or we're part of the grow, like the inner workings. Like for instance, handful, like probably a dozen farms. We'll just provide a grow plan for them, make sure that the plants are there, or whether it's hunted or whatever, and then assist them on that. But a lot of the bulk stuff, like in the commercial stuff, like the harvesting and getting it to a dispensary and all that, that's going to fall under the purview of the license and getting it out there. But what we have here, if you're talking like breeding wise, right? With the rooms that we have and all that, that can just vary on what we're going after and what we're looking for at any particular time. So that could be like any given moment, whether we might have 25 plants under lights, or we could have 125 under lights, depending on what we're doing. So as of late, it's been pretty busy because we've been going so heavy on the hemp seed production and working in that direction, because I feel that there's a good chance that we could, as a country, could make really big strides in the hemp. So you want to be able to help kickstart that and help keep things going in that matter.
So when you're speaking of hemp, so I farm in Iowa and Illinois, and with the corn market taking a shit, a lot of people are talking about diversification. How can I get involved with hemp? Like
I think your issue is you don't have a good outsource to sell it locally. You're going to have to ship it away.
I have nowhere to go with it, and I have no way to process it right now.
Okay, so what are you about? You're in your 40s, right?
Yep, 47.
So you come from a farming background?
Yes, sir. I farm a couple thousand acres.
Okay, great. Probably soy,
corn and soybeans. Yes, sir.
All right. So when did soy become on the scene? Like 1996, 1994?
Oh no! Well, we've been growing soybeans in 60s and 70s.
Yeah, but it wasn't. You didn't really get like the
bigger price for it.
Really kicked off. People grew soy for a specific thing. You get what I'm saying?
They started making soy diesel and all this other things in the
I got you.
oil
Yeah. Probably the 90s. Yeah, probably.
Okay, so what we're looking at is, I want to take you back to that time where, you're probably obviously a kid, you were a teenager, a little bit younger. So this is where we're at with it. Is you have all the information that's there to create hempcrete, textiles, all this stuff. We're going to probably end up in some sort of crisis or some sort of situation, and it's going to all of a sudden, this technology is going to come out of nowhere, and it's going to need to be done because it can grow faster. As an example, the United States has virtually no manufacturing, and we can debate that all you want and this and that, but we've shipped off all of our stuff. We have to rely on the rest of the world for a lot of our goods and what we want to do.
Yep.
Right.
So there's going to be a point in time when it becomes a necessity, and hemp's a huge viable option. So I look at it as like, it's like Silicon Valley. It took 10, 12 years for it to even get any sort of traction in that space. Soybeans were used for a couple of things here and there, and then all of a sudden, overnight, every farmer was growing soy because it was so profitable. You get what I'm saying? Because it needed substantial appetite. So that's why I think is one thing that the United States is good of, the people, is innovation. So if there's an abundance of something, people are going to look at that and go, I can make something of that, right? Everything that's been huge has been built in an idea in a garage in this country. So now,
like this podcast, literally, like this podcast, we're literally in my garage.
100%. So like when you look at it as in a frame, and if you're looking at it in a wider lens, is now, are we going to replace plastic in the next couple of years with hemp? No, but if we worked on it in a decade, absolutely yes, right? If we want to sequester, want to clean up heavy metals and lands, hemp is the way to go. Right?
Now the issue though is the money, right? Because then big oil, that's where you're getting the plastic wares from oil products, right? Petroleum-based products making the oil and the plastics and all that other stuff. But So aren't they fighting that? Of course, everybody that makes plasticware, they're not going to want to switch to hemp products.
So this plant fights everybody. So it fights prohibition, it fights its government, it fights politicians, it fights everything under the sun. Every industry would be affected by if this plant was able to thrive, right? So let's be very clear real quick, if you guys don't know, cannabis, it's all cannabis. However, when we talk in the context of the government coined it marijuana as a propaganda tool, and then weed, and then hemp. So, but it's all cannabis. It's all one plant, just different cannabinoid content.
Right.
So the lower cannabinoid in the THC is called hemp. So that's where the textiles, this and that, all that stuff. So with that said, is like if hemp was allowed to thrive, it would put a lot of these industries that control our politicians under serious pressure. So as an example, we just witnessed the alcohol lobby, or not the alcohol lobby, but the alcohol industry, their profits plunged because cannabis-derived products like drinks were readily available in gas stations around the country, right? So people were bypassing the beer aisle, going after a cannabis drink that was like high in other cannabinoids, low THC, whatever, but they felt great and it was making them feel better. See, now the alcohol people saw that and said, oh shit, we better do something about this. Pharma already knows that with the anti-inflammatory and everything that goes into this, that they're not going to lose billions. They could lose $1 trillion in a short period of time because everybody will stop taking aspirin, Advil. They'll start, because the ultimate feel better. Right?
I haven't taken Motrin in 2 years.
Right? What's that?
I haven't taken a Motrin in over 2 years.
See, now that's bad for if I make Motrin, I'm like, whoa, hey dude, come back this way.
Now,
right?
I wonder though, with our president, the way he's disrupting the economy so abruptly, like any other president, they're making friends, we're trading, we're making world peace or whatever. This president's like, fuck you, I do what I want. But
well, I'll tell you what, this is my opinion only. Take it any way you want. I don't think that our sitting presidents or our politicians are in control. And what I mean by that is understanding this plant now and watching both Republicans and Democrats lie to us, saying that they're in favor of something in reality that they're not. And then you start looking at who pays them, right? And what I mean is through their donations and all that stuff. And it's all industry. So when it comes, I don't think that there's one way or the other when it comes to that. It has to come from the pressure from the people in order to get the changes. Because if there's no pressure from the people, there's no reason for them to do anything. And it doesn't matter who's in there. So like, for instance, Trump gets credit for the Schedule 3, but he has no idea about what he actually signed, right? However, there was people in place that were paying him, right? Or donations, or however you want to claim it,
right,
to get this stuff pushed through. But that's where we're at with this, is we have a bunch of people in charge of making decisions about this plant that know absolutely nothing about it, right? So they're like, oh yeah, you'll kick me some bucks or help me get elected next time, I'm going to do whatever. So now I see that changing because people are now waking up to the fact that our political system is bought and paid for.
Right.
And I see over the course of the next few years, no matter which tribe you're part, whether you're part of the red tribe or the blue tribe, there's going to be some major changes. And there's going to be, from that, a lot of people coming out, bunking the two-party system and talking a language for like actual people. And so, because the way I see it is unfortunate, I was ruined because once I started understanding politics and getting to know these politicians and dealing with politicians, I came to the realization that there's no daylight between the two of them. And there's like, you can sit there and pick these little things here and there.
I just think they're pointless because you can't trust anything they say. If they're not going to do what they say, then what's the point of listening to them?
So you could have the cure for cancer, right? Which this has a potential, but you could literally have the cure for cancer, and whichever party brought that up, the other party would tell you, no, they're lying to you.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right. Absolutely.
And then and then there would be this
just like they're doing now,
media blitz, right?
Just like they're doing now. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So I think once we wake up and realize, like, there's only a couple things that this country's politicians agree on. That's pay raises for themselves, right? Foreign aid, endless wars, and making sure that we stay. They only need us for just for election cycles.
I mean, it's the corporate greed because you need the corporate greed to drive inflation to make everybody need to get paid more. Because if you didn't raise the price of everything, I wouldn't need to get paid more. I'd keep living just the way I am. If I need more money, I'll work harder to buy my toys, but you're going to raise the price every year. I need a raise every year, and that's why everything costs more every year. If we would just stop that nonsense.
Manufactured scarcity, and that's what we constantly live under. And so, but my main point is this: is like when it comes to this, is just cannabis and pushing that. If you don't have any dog in the fight, or you don't care about politics, you should almost pick a neutral thing like cannabis and really push you can and be vocal about that, because in the wake of that, of the people that are actually truly behind that, the wake of that actually makes everything around it that much better. Because as an example, like I get to interact with people all around the world. I might not know what the hell they're saying on these lives, and they might be speaking Farsi, they might be speaking German, whatever it is. But when they show their tent or they show their outdoor grow, or in Morocco, they show me these, silos of hash, and they're talking. I know what they're talking about, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
I all of a sudden I understand their language. Like
they're growing the same shit you are. Yeah.
Yeah. And I can tell you one thing that's not in this community is a religious divide, a class divide, all this. This is a smorgasbord of people that all they care about is this plant, how it can help them, and the benefits of it, whether they're just growing it, whether they're growing it for somebody else, or if it helped them get over, a condition, how they can share that information, and so nobody gets on and go, what part of the country are you from? What color are you? What religion are you? No, none of that. And so when it comes to this as an example, this is probably hands down out of all the communities, the best community you could be a part of, because we don't care. We just hope that you're growing. And if you're not, we're going to at least help you or encourage you. Like I was just mentioning to you, hey, you should throw a couple plants outside, because sometimes getting that tent doesn't come as spring's going to come, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Right on. Quit waiting on you.
Just buy yourself some seeds and stick them in the ground.
Call it good. The seeds. They got big muddy seeds.
Yeah, but you won't know if they're boys or girls for a while.
Well, I want to point out something that most people don't recognize. Another thing that, so you might resonate with this because you're a farmer.
Yeah.
So you got to go to a chemical company every year to get your corn, get your soybean, right? So now you don't own that seed, right?
Right.
So yeah. So anyway, if your neighbor, pollinate your neighbor, they got to X some shit out because they didn't buy the same seed or whatever.
Right.
Now, homesteaders and hemp growers, what you can do during the off season is you can create your own seed, right? Because it's not GMO, it's not patented, right? You can create your own hemp seed for your next season, so you don't have to rely on going to get a bank loan, which many farmers have to do, right?
Yep.
In order to get their seed and get the stuff for the rest of the season. So as an example, if hemp, say, were to offset soy or this and that, now what we have in the soy aspect that a lot of people weren't expecting is they thought China was going to buy soy forever. And then when they put the kibosh on that, what was the solution to our farmers? Oh, we're going to give you aid, right? We're going to give you welfare.
Right.
That's the word. Farmers want to work. Farmers want to feed this country. Like the backbone of this country is farmers. So giving them a subsidy or whatever, the big ag culture, they love it, right? Because they're just fat pigs that milk it up. Where the actual generational homegrown farmers and all that, they don't get those subsidies, right?
No, I got $1,700. I got $1,700.
What'd you do with that?
1,700 Trump bucks.
What'd you do with that?
My wife,
is that your snowplow?
My wife said we're going to spend an extra day at Disney World.
You spent $1,700 in one day at Disney World.
That's expensive.
I think $1,700 is the admission for like 2 people.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I don't go.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. No. But anyway,
to really bring it home is you are now in control of your own supply of, say, seeds. You're also getting back to the roots of this country, and that's why I think that where the time for hemp is now, because the farmers, they're getting sick and tired of getting ran over and worried on a whim of, what pissing match, no matter who's in office.
Right.
And now they're gonna they grow all this soy, they grow all this food. Now, like, what are we gonna do with it, right? Because all the buyers are gone.
Well, now they're talking about making E15 be E30 for corn.
Yeah.
For ethanol.
Yeah. Well, it's also too much ethanol in your car. Running in your car is terrible for your car.
Yes. Awful.
It's harder on everything, but they'll sell it to you like it's gold.
Greener,
right?
It's greener.
Yeah, like save the planet. Remember corn, ethanol, corn, all that stuff was gonna, mix at 10%, and then it wreaks havoc, and it screws up your emissions. But what we have here though is we have lumber mills shutting down left and right. We have you can take hemp and you can make everything from plywood to timber to you name it. It's also in some cases better than Canadian lumber, because especially down in the South, if you got hemp board, termites refuse to eat it, right? It doesn't mold, doesn't mildew. There's just so many aspects of this that this information and technology is already there. There's one company in this country, this is sad, one company in this country that makes plywood, makes 2x4s, makes flooring, all that stuff out of hemp. One company.
Where are they?
Kentucky. You guys in Kentucky?
Really? No,
we're in Illinois.
I'm in Iowa, but
probably costs a lot.
So
does it cost more to purchase that product? Because I'm sure it's a specialty product, because not everybody's making it. It's one guy. So for me to get up here in the Quad Cities, it's going to be, if they even sell it anywhere.
Yes. But yeah, it's super expensive. The reason why it's super expensive is because the production costs are so high.
Right.
So as an example, if you got a commodity, so hemp's is a commodity. Cannabis is a commodity, you guys. That's where it's all going.
Yeah.
So and also too has the potential to be the largest worldwide commodity, because there's so many things that you can make with it. Like we could literally stop cutting down trees tomorrow because you can make hemp paper, right? And hemp paper is going to be obsolete here soon.
Tell me if this is correct. And what I'm hearing is we need because there are states now that are legally growing weed for the states, not federally, obviously. And since everything's money driven and the politicians are money driven, we need enough state cannabis growers to be able to support the politicians and pay enough to beat out big oil and everyone else to be able to get the laws changed. Is that what it takes?
We gotta start greasing some pockets.
Yeah, like I'm saying, do we need the cannabis industry to have enough money to be able to pay the politicians, if you will, to make things change? But how easy is that versus changing the political system? Maybe the president, the sitting president, is the reason we're going to have to change the political system because this happened. I don't know.
I think okay, so I might be a little bit too optimistic, but I see this forming in real time because I'm a part of it a little bit. I talk to a lot of farmers that know nothing about hemp or cannabis, that are now getting familiar with hemp and cannabis, and then they realize like they're looking for changes. So the thing is we are in this inertia, in this movement now, where people are recognizing how messed up things are and looking for changes. And they're coming across this stuff that's been here for a while. So the cannabis space is, cannabis community has been here for a while. But what it hasn't happened is the ability for a cannabis community to talk to the farming community with Bitcoiners and coiners mixed into that community, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right? Those conversations weren't happening just a year or two ago, right? Those conversations are now forming because as Americans, we like to innovate, we like to look for solutions, and we're recognizing the solution. So one thing that we're going to run into now is everybody's premium just got jacked up. So there's a lot of people that are going to drop their health insurance because who's going to pay a $50,000, $100,000 copay?
You know what? Turn to cannabis, and you won't need all that health insurance.
Well, okay, look, it's so if the cannabis aspect of it is if you incorporate it into your diet, it's going to ward off a lot of stuff. Don't get me wrong, Western medicine is amazing,
for sure,
right? So the and all that, but it's all about eating right and all that. So where our government said, hey, you know what? we're going to give everybody equivalent to $1,500, and we're going to give you Ozempic instead of, hey, we're going to give you $1,500 so that way you can get a gym membership, maybe get you some affordable food,
Right.
maybe teach you how to eat better, right? There's like
We
they were
can't
like,
make money off you that way. We make money off you getting the Big Macs. We make money you buying the gas to get the Big Macs. We make money you off of doing all these things. We don't make money off you getting fit at the gym.
Yeah. And so, because what it should be is this, is antidepressant medicine should be for people that absolutely need it. And what I mean by that is
and turned to cannabis and never looked back.
Yeah. But there's some people there's just like it's just like anything in a population, right? The amount, like for instance, back in the day, you could go and be like, I got tennis elbow, and they're like,
right.
oh, let me get you a script for 30 Oxycontin and see you in a couple days, right? That was a real thing back in the day.
Yeah. Just masking the pain.
But I think what we're seeing though is we're starting to see people having conversations that I never thought in a million years would have conversations and be talking to each other. And I'm here for it. I love it. I'm going to promote it. I have a unique platform. And what I mean by that is we have some of the greatest, literally at our fingertips. We have some of the greatest growers at our fingertips. Like if we wanted to, is like we could probably shift and make a seed initiative, and we could probably, with all the tent growers, we could probably convert. We could make a billion seeds, really a billion seeds in the matter of a year, right? For farmers, if we needed to, like roll up your sleeves, hemp for victory, garden for victory type of shit during World War II. Right. So when this country's called upon to do something or take action, and it's serious and it's dire, that's what we do, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I think that this stuff is going to only amplify and grow, but our government is so inept that they think that the same old propaganda tactics and the same old suppression tactics are going to be able to keep going. Like they keep using the same playbook, and everybody's like, whoa, what are you talking about? Right? Like, wait, I made more money 10 years ago than I am now, and you're telling me this economy is booming, right? You can only bullshit people for so long before they start to wake up and go, oh, okay, right?
You can't piss on me and tell me it's raining.
You want me to try?
Yeah, absolutely.
No.
So that's why I think that ultimately, I really feel we're on a trajectory, and if it goes right and the stars align and all that, I'm a firm believer that hemp could revolutionize the world, and it could actually make the United States a superpower again. And what I mean by that is an innovative leader that it's lost in the past 30 years by shipping all its technology and whoring itself out to the rest of the world, right? Like we experienced that during that shutdown. Like, when all shipping stopped and all that, I mean, what did people, they didn't hoard, green beans, right? They ran to the store and grabbed toilet paper. Like, who does that? What the hell?
Idiots. That's that.
Right.
The world's coming to an end, and you feel like you got to go push people down at Costco to get toilet paper? Like,
right.
What?
Hey, an itchy ass sucks. I'm just saying, okay?
I get it. It just shows how ill prepared we are for anything major, and that's why I think that we promote. That's why we're heavy promoters of home growers, because we feel the more people we can teach to grow this plant will actually naturally gravitate, like we've all done in our story, naturally gravitate and go, I'm going to grow my own tomatoes. I'm going to grow my own strawberries.
Right. I'm doing yourselfer.
Anybody that's ever ate fruits and vegetables out of their own garden, it is so hard to look at the grocery store the same. Right. Anybody that's ever had meat that wasn't jacked up on antibiotics and all that stuff and actually grass-fed is a way different feel. Now, I'm not going to sit here and push my ideas and all that shit onto people. Like, once you experience this for yourself, you'll be able to judge for yourself. And I'm just telling you from my experience, there's a good chance that you're not going back. So once you can grow your own food, it brings a lot of, serenity, brings a lot of pride, brings a lot of stuff, and
so
and next thing you know,
what I just heard is you're telling me cannabis is going to clean up the entire government system. Get rid of getting paid for all these other big oil, big companies, because cannabis can do it all. That's going to change.
Think about it this way. Think about your man here, right? Your co-host, right? He's a farmer, right?
Yep.
And he's a farmer. He's recognizing, hey, I just got 1,700 Trump bucks here, and I got a whole farm. I got, this was my family's livelihood or whatever, however your story is. Now, he found cannabis later in life because it helped him. He said he's not taking Motrin anymore, right? He might get fed up and go, you know what? I think I'm going to run for a local office for a couple of years, right? 10 years, this guy could be running for senator of Illinois.
Oh, let's not get crazy
right?
now.
But
But you're right.
My point is we're 10 years in Washington here into legalization, right? We're about solid like 10 years of this being on the forefront. We have 10 years of people's lives being changed directly from cannabis. And right now what we have is we have a government that resembles an old folks home. So imagine if we just went into pick a random old folks home, right? Retirement home, or 70, 80-year-old home. With our average age for senator and Congress or whatever is like 63 years old. That's like,
right.
Just going to an old folks home. Hey, can you make all the decisions for my life? None of us would do that.
Right.
No way in hell. No. We need to get somebody that relates to us.
Exactly.
So, we need to make it up. So that's my point is you're going to get people that are going to actually run for local office and start changing stuff on the local level. And then it works its way up. So that's why I think it's always important to work on your local level and watch what your state is doing and stay active on that realm, because we're not going to be able to really change any major stuff on the national level, but we can protect our states, we can protect our counties, we can protect our towns from overreach of the national side of stuff, right? So if we want to, like, for instance, we want to bring the taxes down. You guys have a high tax rate in Illinois, right?
Yep.
You attack the coffers, you attack the people and start questioning, well, where's this tax money going? Show me that it's building schools. Show me that it's getting people off the street. Let's get an audit here, because if you're paying 33% tax rate that you guys are, I better be seeing some really good results. You know what I mean? Like,
where's the money going?
Right? Because nobody minds paying more for something if they're getting good value.
Right.
And so, but if they can't answer that, that's going to piss some people off, and that's how you inspire people. And that's what I was ultimately getting at is we're part of the change. These conversations that you and I are having, the conversations that everybody's having, this community is having.
Yep.
This is how change works, right? And it goes with the flow. And what we're going to see is step up and keep stepping up and keep stepping up.
Well, we're hoping Dope Discussions with Dick and Dank can be the voice for that change. That's what we want to be, those weed advocates. And we're asking for donations. We're starting to get advertisers. We made ourselves an official LLC, Dope Discussions. It's Dick and Dank.
It's almost like we're real.
I know. We're trying to be legit here. So we made an LLC. We made this a business because we do want to be cannabis advocates. We believe in this product. We've got every guest says nothing but great things. Now people says, hey, where are your people that pose? If they want to be on here, we'll let you be on here. But feel free to email the mailbag if you would, dank@dickanddank.com, and we're happy to have you on as a guest if you'd like to be, or answer your questions. Feel free. We'd like to get that conversation going. Aussie_Gunja Man back on the show here hopefully soon. Over in Tasmania, Australia, it was complicated for you to figure out the math on the
17 hours ahead of us.
I understand that. I
had to Google it 3 times.
I understand. So, Brandon from Inhouse Genetics. Now, I know we've been all over the place. A great topic. I love this because anybody that you can refer, feel free to email me or message us on Instagram so we can get more people like you in the industry that want to share their experience and their knowledge that we can share to our listeners. We're celebrating right now. We just reached 7,000 followers on Instagram, so officially. So we're trying to grow our brand to help this cannabis message and spread the good word. And now you're a part of that. So thank you, Inhouse Genetics. Now I want to make sure. I don't think we heard about how you got started and how you grew, but do you remember your actual first time smoking weed? Can you remember that first time?
Yeah, it was 9th grade. We skipped school. We went down up on the Ave, scored a sack, and then went back to a friend's house, and we started smoking bowls. And then I got super high. Walked to the bus stop, went by a little corner store, and they're called spring rolls, so they're like bigger egg rolls.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys were. I remember exactly how that thing tasted today. It was one of the best fucking spring rolls I've ever had in my life. So it was that and a little packet of sweet and sour sauce.
Oh man!
And I was just in a totally different world, but I was loving every minute of it. And and I lived in the north end, but we had taken the bus because my friends lived down in the south end, so I knew I had like an hour and a half bus ride, and felt great all the way through that whole bus ride. And I was like, yeah, this is definitely it.
And you're hooked ever since.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so yeah, it's like because it was a positive experience. It was like, you know, it wasn't like a peer pressure thing or this and that. I would say it smelled it before, kind of whatever, but like full on like bowl after bowl. And then you over time, like, you know, sometimes there were a couple times where we just overdid it because you're just kids, right? So you get 4 or 5 people together, and you know, you just start blazing bowl after bowl after bowl, like hot box in the bedroom for 3, 4, or 5 hours, just ridiculous, you know.
Right,
but you're kids, but you live and learn.
Yeah,
you know,
learn from your mistakes. You grow as a person. All right, so your method of choice: do you roll joints, smoke bowls, the flowers, you know, dabs, you know, if you will. So method of choice.
So you said, well, method of choice, bowls and joints, but now I've kind of really moved on to the edibles. It's so much easier. Was playing with the vapes for a little bit, but it's like, but now it's all about edibles.
And you make your own?
What's that?
You're making your own edibles?
Yeah. Well, you have to make your own edibles because you'll see something out there. Like, for instance, we make especially like barbecue sauces, pasta sauces, pizza sauces. I showed you guys some of the candy. You know, we have a buttercream candy that's really good. You can't even taste the oil.
That's
awesome.
amazing. Put that in everything.
How do people buy your stuff?
Oh, we just make it for ourselves, and we make it for people that are like, put it this way: somebody tells me something's wrong with them or whatever. Like, for instance, you guys got some back pain. I'll get your info. I'll send you. You guys are gonna love this because you're gonna be like, oh shit, all right, this is cool.
All right.
So like we have it. Like I said, we have it in places that's made for us. It's under a couple of different brands. Essentially, it's a thing that we have, our ingredients and this and that, and then we send it. You know, I guess we like white labeled or whatever.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's made in a few places around the country. But what we do is we do a lot of R&D. But also, I like it because when somebody says I can't sleep, I can go, oh, you know what? Let's try some shit. What's the worst going to happen? Right. It's not gonna work.
Right. I can't sleep.
And what's that?
I said I can't sleep. I keep just. Yeah. I'll bet you I'm taking 300 or 400 milligrams a night of THC.
THC.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. See, that's your problem. So what I'm getting at is understanding how the cannabinoids work with each other. You don't necessarily need to have a high THC content when it comes to
high
an edible,
CBD
right?
or CBN.
If you look closely at wherever you're in the store, if you get some CBN in your system, it's gonna make major difference. Even if you were to take that 400, 300, 400 milligrams of an edible, it's pretty lot. That's pretty high, actually, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But you incorporate CBN into that, it's gonna be a game changer. I guarantee it. In fact, I'll even send you candies that will have the CBN and all that. Don't change anything that you're doing. Just add this to it, and I guarantee within a few days you're gonna be like, oh man, you know, I got like sound sleep, like for 2, 3, 4 hours.
That's your homework. You have to try this. If he's willing to send some for us to try,
I'm excited to try. If you send it, I'm excited.
And we'll talk about it in our show. All right. So people that are interested in you and your products and everything you have to offer. So what's the best way for people to get a hold of you?
Oh, just social media. Social media is the best way. I've been kind of slow walking, revamping the website. So I don't know when this is going to come out. So the website will eventually come. But the best way to get a hold of us really and all that is through our social media and all that. Because the reason we don't do direct sales anyway, so everything's through Seed Bank and this and that. A little bit more personable through social media. You can get a better, quicker, faster response and a little bit more direct. I encourage, if you guys do not have an X account, get an X account, find the in-house accounts, and then see who they're see what we're reposting and all that. Follow those accounts. You'd be surprised on how quick of some really cool communities that you're gonna get involved in. So whether you're looking for you know what cannabinoids are, how, you know, nutritional, medicinal aspect, all that, we can actually speak and do more freely stuff over on X and really expand on and detail on a lot of things over there that we can't do on an Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or any of those places, and that's why we focus heavily over there with that type of content, because they don't strike us down.
All right. Well, I hope Dunk, our distant assistant's paying attention. So I'm going to put her on charge. I kind of stay on Instagram. I like Instagram. They're a weed friendly community. I like the scroll, do them on the pictures or whatever. But Trippy Lydia, we hopefully we get her on one day.
We've had probably roughly 10 to 12 accounts over the years. We had back-to-back accounts there for a couple of years. We get usually about 140, 150,000 followers, and then just wake up, poof, it's gone.
Really?
And we don't buy followers, so it's such a pain. Like, for instance, it was like I just lost the account that we had that was that I followed you guys from. So Inhouse Genetics Rec had 60,000 or 55,000 followers or something like that. The engagement was off the charts. Woke up one day, they had taken that account, took my personal account. They just took a bunch of accounts.
Did they give a reason?
What's that?
Did they give a reason?
No reason.
Just took it and you can't get it back.
Like, it didn't even exist. And then I got an email 6 months later from them, and it was like, do you want to download your stuff? But I went to click it. It was like, too late.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I just, when I pushed over, when I got your guys' message on X, when I clicked over, it was like, oh, you reached 5,000 people. And that's basically that account's been up for a year and been kind of on autopilot. So now what we're seeing is the fake accounts, the scam accounts that people make about us. Those now have 20 or 30,000 followers. It's pretty wild.
Really?
But,
so you got to make sure nobody's trying to be us. That's for sure.
Yeah, that we know of.
I do want to tell you guys this, so everybody fully understands this. Inhouse will never ever ask you for any sort of funds or any sort of mail money. We will never ask you, and we'll never provide you anything over social media. So if you see our logo, very important, you see our logo and it's asking for something, it's a scam 100%. So that's why we don't ask for anything in return if we're dealing with something or whatever, just so you know it's legit up, right?
Well, you send that logo, so we'll make sure we tag that on our website. So when people listen to this episode, they can go to our website, verify your logo, make sure they're in the right place.
Yeah, 100%. And we will, like I said, I just want to be very clear. We never ask you for anything over the internet. And we will not send you to somewhere or anything like that. And you'll know for a fact that it's us, because a lot of times, if I'm talking to somebody, I'll send them a voicemail or I'll send them a quick video so that they know that it's me.
Right on.
Cool.
Right on. All right, man.
I just think a lot of people get scammed and they're like, hey, I talked to you on social media, and it's like, no, you didn't. So, and then you feel terrible.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I don't trust the internet. I love the internet. The internet's awesome. I don't trust politicians. I don't trust the shit. You can't trust the videos now and the pictures, because everything's so AI and digital edited. You can't even tell the difference now. It's kind of freaky.
100%. Well, you're evolving. We're all evolving. I think it's like, I don't know. I guess we don't know where it's going to go. I don't know. I'm excited, but
I'm curious. Curiously excited, nervously excited. I don't know how to put it, because I like the technology. I like gadgets and technology and the AI. See what they're doing with robots, and now they're adding their thinking, and now they're the show on HBO, Westworld. They're actually they've been able now to make an AI face that can speak in sync with the audio, so it actually looks like it's talking instead of just the mouth opening and closing. Now it's actually moving and forming, and it's just more fluid, and it looks natural, just like people.
The AI now has its own social media site, so they're talking to each other,
right?
And humans aren't allowed to join it.
That's crazy.
Well, wouldn't we understand it anyway? They'd be talking in code anyway. I guess the hackers could figure it out, but
no, yeah. So legit. The name escapes me right now, but it's an actual site where AI are kind of like social media platform talking to each other and not letting humans interact with that social media. That's a legit thing.
I had no idea, and I knew they were doing all kinds of things. They're talking to us. So, how do we control that then? I mean, you got robots making robots, and if it's controlling the internet, if it's controlling anything that's controlled on the internet, which is half your shit in your house, how do we stop it if it does want to do something?
Pull the plug.
Pull the plug.
Right.
Live without technology, because thankfully we have hemp. We can grow our own medicine. We can grow our rope and paper and construction materials, all from hemp. So thank goodness, I'm going to have to start growing. You're going to start producing.
Get bored, I didn't mean to cut you out, but if you guys get bored, look at hemp batteries, right? Look at Henry Ford and making cars and panels out of it. And yeah, no, it's legitimately, it's all there. So if you got anybody that wants to take a deep dive on it, it's worth the read and an understanding of the history and what the hemp plant in particular could do, and it'll start making sense. You go, oh man, oh wow, I didn't know it could do that.
So we need to invest in the hemp industry so it can get to its rightful glory and all the things it can do for everybody around the world.
Sounds like it.
We're getting there. I have a feeling that I'll see it in my lifetime, but as long as I'm up and breathing, I'm going to be fighting. So,
all right. Well, I thank you, Brandon. This has been fantastic. Brandon from Inhouse Genetics. We'll get your social media because now we're a couple weeks before this episode airs, but we'll release this episode and put that up there, and then anybody can email me Dank at dickanddank.com and donate. Yeah. Brandon, Inhouse Genetics.
Thank you. Thanks for jumping on.
Yeah, short notice. We'll get those Aussies back on here when we can. But I'm glad we met the Rogue Herbalist. She was fantastic, and you were fantastic. So, any referrals of people that that now that you kind of get a feel what the show's like and how easy it is that you feel would be a great guest for us, please let us know.
Yeah, there's actually a number of people, especially like what I've been doing is I've been talking to some of the podcasters where I was like, you guys need to at least, I've been urging at least get into some sort of contact with each other. So whether you guys are on your own group chat or whatever, because you're not going to work together directly, but it's kind of good to be able to be in a way that you're connected. So if you needed to reach out to someone directly, you're connected. And so like, there's some really good people out there that I know, like with the Pigeons 420s out of Canada. He's got a great following, huge on YouTube. And then there's ICANN THC, which does like grow reviews. He does a news thing. Watching these people, basically go from really small followings to large followings, and been with them like every step of the way, and kind of being the bridge, which has been pretty cool. Because I'm like, do you know this person? Do you know this person? Or at least like, go talk to this person kind of deal. There's definitely some people. I'm gonna probably go back and listen to some of your guys' podcasts in depth and get kind of an idea of like some of the flavor, like what you're kind of going after. If you're going after education, there's some people that definitely would want you to probably have on and entertain, because the information they'll bring will be pretty amazing.
Thank you so much. And we appreciate the advice too. Thank you.
Yeah, we're new to this. I took my broadcasting degree, and then we took our love of weed and being a farmer, and both having that in background, farming background. But so we're just trying to be a voice for cannabis. And I think that's a great idea, building a network with other podcasters, if we want to call them podcasters. You got podcast network, and then but we're trying to educate the weed to free the plant, if you will, so we can be everything it needs to be with our construction, all that stuff. So there's not one place I can buy hemp lumber. I'd like to be able to buy it from Lowe's and Home Depot and then 3 or 4 different brands of hemp lumber,
Right.
Yeah, I would, I get to give you guys an example. I can post the most beautiful flower on one of our pages and get maybe 10,000, 15,000 views in just a short few hours, right?
Yeah.
If I post an education thing that somebody really enjoys, or like, oh wow, the share button goes off the hook, and especially on social media, the share button is equivalent to like 100 likes, because that means that they took the steps and shared it with somebody else. And what I found is we got lucky because we wanted to educate people, and so everything that we put up that's educational, now people come and they look forward to that. It's a little bit refreshing, because when I first started, they were like, oh, you're too political, you're too nerdy to this and that. And now people are like, if you don't put it up, they're like, hey, what happened to you? Why did you stop? Like, oh,
right.
Because I went off of Instagram for 8 months, and it was the best thing ever, because it was just got too toxic. It was gross. The people were gross. And so I went over to X. They got sick and tired of waking up and I couldn't even post for like 30 days once, and then 90 days, and then there
really?
was like 200-day ban or whatever, and I was like, this is just stupid.
I'm much
And
more
so,
casual on social media. We're more about trying to gain the following just so people can get listen to the show. I'm trying to get people to listen to the show, and I think social media is the best way for us to advertise what we're doing so we can get the listeners. Because 7,000 followers is great, but we don't actually have 7,000 people listening yet. So getting them to actually
you'll get
listen.
there.
So yeah,
I will tell you guys one thing: if you have somebody trolling your account, if you get in an argument with somebody or whatever, or somebody doesn't like what you say, don't block them, restrict them, and then still interact with them. But if they try to report your account, it won't go against your account because you restricted them. So you got ahead of them. So if you're getting into a back and forth with somebody,
Yep.
right? If you restrict them, it still shows up on their end, but the public can't see it.
so what does the restricted do then?
What's that?
What does the restricted do when you mark them restricted?
So when you mark it restricted, they can still put the comment. You can still reply to the comment, but the public can't see their comment, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Right.
Makes
Okay.
complete
But
sense.
by them being restricted, it shows the algorithm that this person is a problem on your account. So when they go and say that you violated
Report
terms
it.
of
You
service,
already, yeah. Okay.
they report your account. It doesn't have the nearly effect. Like, for instance, you and I are arguing, and I'm like, fuck this guy's account. Oh, he's being racist or whatever, right? They instantly pull your account down. They'll go back and read it and algorithm, and then they'll give you your account back, right?
Uh-huh.
But if you get too many of those, even if they're false accounts, then you can get removed. However, if you restricted it, having the conversation, and the conversation, you're not getting, not being rude or disrespectful or whatever, or cussing, whatever the hell it is, then they go to report your account. It won't have nearly effect or any effect because you restricted them. So it shows the algorithm that you knew that the person was going to be a problem.
Right.
And you kind of
And you
the
blocked
person.
it so it wasn't on your in your view for the public. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
If you block them, it takes away from their interaction completely. But reason why you restrict them is because you think that people can do better. So a lot of people can do better, and then you get through your misunderstanding, they get out of their fields, and then you unblock them because they're not a danger to report your account. That makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
People will get mad at you, and because you said something back to them, or they don't like your attitude, and it's so easy to report your account because it's one button.
Report. I've scrolled and said, oh shit, I don't want to. It was like an accident. I don't want to report nothing because I don't know what that does. But yeah.
Yeah, and then if you because like some topics, like for instance, like if you talk about hemp in the context that the algorithm picks it up, like Zuckerberg or the Instagram hates cannabis. We're just fortunate that if the account goes down tomorrow, I know by the end of the day I'm gonna have 1,000 followers. After a few weeks, I'm gonna have a few thousand followers. But we have backup accounts spread out because we have 4 accounts across like Instagram.
Yep.
So we have some that are in the back and then some of the front. Like the official one, I want to say it's something that's like 12,000 followers or something like that. But yeah, you may want to create a backup.
Okay.
How easy is it to keep up with that, to have that backup account and then like repost everything on the multiple accounts? Is that pretty easy to do? You just share with each one and then repost it on each one?
No, so what you do is you just encourage people. So you make up your backup. So that way when your account's in limbo and you got to go through and you got to verify yourself and all that could take 2 hours, that could take 2 days, that could take 4 days, that could take 6 days. But at least you still have a backup presence on your backup, right? Because then you can go, hey, our main account down. I don't know if we're going to get it back, but if it does, we'll move back over there. But for the meantime, here's the information that we're going to get you guys, right? And so you don't need to double post, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. Just using the backup. So that way you have your followers are encouraged to follow the backup in case that page goes down. And
now,
then that way you still communicate.
Do you get warning signs before somebody's going to shut that? Right now, I don't think there's ever been an issue. We don't get a whole lot of chat interaction other than us and maybe our guests. But which tells me there's not much attention yet. But so is there a time constraint? Like somebody reports me, it's just done? Like, is there like
no.
I can message everybody, hey, go see me over here?
So always check your account status, right? and look, and it'll say potential violations or could be go against our standards, right? So always look at that, and then sometimes just remove the post and put it back up, maybe reword it differently or whatever, right?
All right. So it gives you a chance to correct it.
Another thing too, if it's a picture that might have flagged it, just take your logo or take something and just add it to the top of the picture. So technically it changes the picture.
Sure.
You go,
Oh, yep.
so, but it's, you just go into your settings and then it says, check my status or whatever. And then to see if you have any potential violations. Right.
Okay,
And
fair enough.
you might have a couple, like they flag all sorts of random stuff. Take a close look at it, make the determination if it could look weird or if the algorithm could have picked up different or something. A lot of times what I'll do is if it's a recent post, I'll let it ride because it's like, oh, I didn't say anything out of line or anything like that. But it'll tell you usually your account status. Now you're barely haven't had anything, so you'll get a little bit of leeway. But another thing too is they could you could post the wrong thing and they could just take it tomorrow. I mean, it's just such a limbo thing. I don't mean to, I'm not trying to scare you or anything.
No, you're good. You're good.
You guys should be super proud that you have a 7,000 follower account. That takes a lot of work to get up to that. I would just hate for that to go to waste. So
you worry me that, well, because I have Mr. Dank 5, Mr. Dank 5. You got to put that period in there, and then he has dope discussions _Dick. So I can kind of consider that our backup account, if you would, because your technically would be the official account because you have our name on it. But then my account has a 7,000 followers. That'd be a pretty easy transition, I think, between the two. I'd say.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. And then one of you guys, whoever's still alive on Instagram, and you start a new one, just send it over into the DM and go, hey, we lost our account. Here's the new one. That way I can put the new one up in the story and put it on a post to go, hey, you guys lost their account. Instagram's up to their fuckery ways again. Go make sure you're following them so they don't, so they can stay up on it. You just want to like at least have backup pages running in the background where you don't even have to service, just in case you need to use it. So that way you don't have to do Dank 0.5, 0.6, 0.8. Right.
Yeah. Well, just when I got Mr. Dank 5 Mr. Dank was taken, obviously. So then I was like 1, 2, it's like, fuck. So I got to 5. I was like, well, I guess that's it. We'll just go with 5. But anyway, like it's been great. I think you're a valuable resource. Obviously well educated in cannabis. And I'm glad we got a hold of you because you've educated us. We're always learning on this show.
Right.
And that's why 7,000 people follow us.
You guys, if you guys ever have a question or whatever, feel free to hit me up. It's really that's what it's about is just getting people, corny, but it's getting people educated and getting people connected, right?
Yes,
also, too, if there's somebody that you guys feel like you need to talk to or something, don't hurt it because closed mouths don't get fed. If I have a connection to them, I will find a way or help you way or pave a way to help you get to that person or get a hold of that person.
I like it. Everybody that we got on episode, they're another person we can reach out to. We got Bloom Crew Nate, we got Stogner, our district attorney in Texas. So Just Brian, our trauma translator, Big Daddy Dan, who's moving away, but our Daily Dot Homegrowns, Big Muddy Genetics, so many resources we have at Dick and Dank. So you listeners, you follow along, go subscribe to our website. That's where we know our true fans are because that's where you'll get our email dunk letter. We should call it something like dunk letter. I don't know. But the newsletter from our distant assistant, Dunk, who can't be here all the time. But we've had recent episodes. At least we get to communicate with her, get an update on what she's been doing with our show. But thank you, Brandon. It's been great. I appreciate you. We're going to play our little song here. And but we'll share resources, share people. Stay dope, stay dank, and let's keep the discussions rolling.
Yeah.
That's funny. I didn't know we were still recording.
Good night.
Oh, you're good.
Talking things and important facts, like what's next, give me gas. There's a place that you wanna go. The clientele is really slow. DickandDank.com, oh yeah. DickandDank.com, all right. DickandDank.com.
We're gonna get to see the face again when they because they think the song's done, and then our guy on the couch who made the song starts getting into fa la la la. but we're trying to get this song stuck in your head. Go to SoundCloud.com and you can download this song and have it in your phone. Just play it anytime you like.
It's catchy.
I think
It
I'm
is.
officially a little dumber after listening to that.
That might be true.
I was actually thinking that as soon as you said that.
He was ahead of me.
Perfect. Good times.
How good did that feel? Honestly. That's it for today's Dope Discussions with Dick and Dank. You can binge us on Spotify, iHeart, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and SoundCloud. Or you can even grab our theme song. True fans? Well, you know where to go, right to our website. Subscribe and get the newsletter from our vertically challenged distant assistant, Dank. Yes, Dank. Writes better emails than we do. Follow us on Facebook, Blue Sky, and X. But if you really want to get the inside scoop, hit us up on Instagram at DopeDiscussions_Dick and Mr. Dank5. Got questions or want to advertise? Email dank@dickanddank.com. Until next time, stay dope, stay dank, and keep those discussions rolling. Looking for fresh beats and smooth vibes? Check out Music by Ernie, streaming now on SoundCloud. Whether you're chilling, driving, or turning up the volume, Ernie's got the soundtrack for your moment. Don't miss out. Search Music by Ernie today, only on SoundCloud.